UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.
To me, Tom Brady is the GOAT because he's done more with less than any player at that position we've ever had.
All right, welcome into UNPAVED. A little free-for-all today. It's Super Bowl weekend. You'll hear this every year. Oh, where's the buzz? Is there buzz? The buzz is we got two damn good teams. I don't understand. I'm Sean, by the way. Seggs will be along here in just a second. I don't understand why we all get caught up. We have to have Mahomes or Josh Allen or Tom Brady, or it's just not exciting. It's pretty damn exciting for New England with the new era New England and the Seattle Seahawks. Like I said, I don't give a really fuzzy rat's as what the ratings are for NBC. I could care less about the ratings. Does it entertain me as a good football? And I always laugh when people say, well, he deserved to get a championship. No, you don't deserve a championship until you get a fucking championship, okay? Mahomes didn't deserve it this year. He's deserved it in the past because he's earned it. Josh Allen doesn't deserve to be in a Super Bowl. I know he wants to be, but he doesn't deserve it any more than Lamar Jackson because neither one of them got there. And I understand the pomp and circumstance with all the stuff that goes around. Because the teams aren't sexy, haven't been there. Here's what's funny. We always bitch about, wow, man, it's the same teams every year. Then when somebody else gets in, or with some new players that aren't as sexy as everybody else, guess what happens? Guess what happens? We bitch that we don't have the big names in there. And then when the big names in there, we want new players in there, and we get new players. Darnold and Drake made both Super Bowls in Seattle, and well-coached Mike Vrabel coaching his first Super Bowl. We're like, yeah, but who cares about it? I mean, well, who cares? It's a Super Bowl and it's two new teams, and we're looking for parity. We bet what we don't have, we bitch that we want, and when we have it, we want something else. We've got two teams that were consistently the best teams in their conferences this year, and they earned it. One wasn't a one seed. I mean, one was a one seed, and Seggs. Let's bring Seggs in too. Let's see. The New England was what, the 2 seed, Seggs, this year? Is that correct? Yeah. And Seattle the 1 seed, right? Right,
because Denver was
right.
the 1 seed.
Because Denver was the 1 seed, right? And they got taken care of and lost the game. And Seattle played great. So, New England played great. So, Seggs, I've always marveled at this. We get the same people every year. We're mad. Oh, here we go again. I'm so sick of this. And then when we get somebody new, we're mad that we don't have that star power. We got star power in the game. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Sam Darnold. It's just not the old school star power that guys have won and multiple times been back. Guess what I know about Sam Darnold and Drake May and their team? Why this team game does matter. That Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow once, we can go through. Guess how many Super Bowls they've been in? Star power helps get you there. And it's not a knock on Lamar or Josh, but they're the best that never won a title playing in the league, according, MVPs and that. And so that's why the whole team effort, we should be loving this, Seggs. Why? I know outside, if it's not your team, well, the Raiders haven't been in a while, so I'm used to this. But if it's not your team, but in truth, you should be loving this. It's two competitive teams that are really good. Don't watch real football instead of focus on one cat who can throw it. We got a bunch of, they've earned their right to be here. So I don't know why, it's going to be low rated. That's fine. It ain't going to be low rated in my mind. Hell, I might watch this even a little closer because I'm trying to see who can handle the pressure that's never been in it. So Adam Sager joins here. This is UNPAVED. Like and subscribe YouTube and on Rumble. Got a great show. I don't think JB was able to make it today, was he? He's not coming on today, is he? Yeah, because of his schedule. And that's okay. It's Friday before the Super Bowl. JB will be back on Monday to review with us all the stuff that went on. But we got plenty for you, a lot of laughs and the rest of it. So, Seggs, I don't know about you, but I'm actually really giddy about this Super Bowl because it's well, some people that we're familiar with and like, and that I want to see do well. But I kind of like that we had two teams at the beginning of the year. We knew Seattle was good. New England was going to be improved. We didn't have them here, Segs, and here we go. I'm all in. 100% big buy-in by me.
Yeah, I love the fact that these are two of the best teams throughout the year. Sometimes we get these teams that just sneak in as a wild card and hadn't played well for a decent stretch of the season. But these two teams have been two of the better teams all year long. And I'm with you. I don't care about star power. Give me the best teams. Give me teams that match up well, which these two teams do. Give me new coaches getting to the Super Bowl for the first time, especially Mike Vrabel in his first year at New England. Mike McDonald, his second year in Seattle, is just becoming a head coach very recently. And just so many different little storylines to both of these teams that I like. And the fact that I love sometimes when people just hate what is going on in the championship, if it's NBA, college football, whatever it is. I love the fact that people hate that the Patriots are back in the Super Bowl, but this time it's without Bill Belichick. It's without Tom Brady. And they figured it out with Mike Vrabel. They found their guy in Drake May, and they've been able to make it work and get
Agreed.
that pisses people off because, yeah, a lot of people were sick of the New England Patriots being in the Super Bowl, but they're a good enough organization that they were able to turn it around quickly and become a Super Bowl contender so quick with Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, Segs, don't we also, though? Don't we also, we talk about, and you mentioned it, and so did I, about good teams. I mean, you watch the course of the season. They have been the two most consistent teams in the league, regardless of who they play. They've consistent. I know we can throw the Rams in there and the 49ers at times and Buffalo at times. At times doesn't get you to a Super Bowl. You got to do it at the right time. And these two teams did. I don't know why we would want the third best team in the league to go. I know if you're LA, you want Stafford, but guess what? They weren't good enough to beat Seattle.
Right.
Seattle, they may beat them next week. They may beat them if they played in another NFC championship game, but they just didn't this year. And so I don't know why there's so many sidebars. Belichick and Kraft don't get into the first ballot, and they're in the Super Bowl. Does Belichick want New England? We already heard Tom Brady say he didn't have skin. He didn't have a dog in the fight, which is BS. Kraft's not getting their team's back. Drake May, the new quarterback, and then you got Seattle, who the Legion of Boom, and no more Pete Carroll and Mike McDonald. Hell, Mike McDonald got to the Super Bowl day as fast as Pete Carroll did with the Seattle Seahawks, right? And he's got a different quarter. I think this is loaded with more sidebars than, hey, guess who's in it? The Rams are playing Philly, or the Kansas City's playing Philly. While I would love that too, because there's 50 million stars, but it's like, I know what their approach is. I know what this guy's going to do. There's some unknown in this game. There really is. And so to me, damn the ratings, man. Ratings be damned. Yeah. This is good football, and I'm all in. Which ought to make your damn Super Bowl parties pretty friggin' good.
Yeah,
we got two good games. Plus, if you don't have your team in it, I almost at times think you feel a little less anxiety to the Super Bowl anyway. So you could just free will it and let it rip.
Yeah, you're just watching it, enjoying the food.
No doubt. You want your team. Right, and every year, and you're taking every step of the way. And where sometimes a good commercial comes on, and you're like, my team's playing. I don't even remember the commercial because I got anxiety.
100%.
Your buddy's talking to you. You bet $100. You bet $1,000 on your team or $5,000 on your team, and you're like, I can't think, and you don't really enjoy it. You only enjoy the end result. I love the Super Bowl process from the time I wake up till the time that damn thing's in. I don't know what element we don't have, other than it's not the TV. Do you think I give a flying fuck what the studio execs think about this matchup? Sakes, I could care. I mean, I got buddies that work for NBC, and I want them to have a great broadcast. But guess what? I don't care about what the Nielsen, what the ratings say after. I know where I'm going to be. And I expect a damn good football game. So we all want what we don't have. And in this case, we should all love it because we got two damn good, disciplined football teams who don't beat themselves. And that's a great start in a pressure-filled, choke on your own spit, life-changing game for the worse or for better for whichever team and whichever player walks away with a win and an MVP award in it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating game because of how these two teams are set up. So let me start here as we kind of break this down. Looking at the two quarterbacks, you have Sam Darnold with the Seahawks. You have Drake May in just his second season with the New England Patriots. Young guy, never, played at North Carolina, never played in a big bowl game, never played in a national championship. His biggest game was the AFC championship game just a couple weeks ago. Now he's playing in the biggest game in the sport of football. Which team needs their quarterback to step up and play their best game of the year to win? Is it either? Do neither team need it? Or is there one quarterback you're looking at and be like, I need this guy to show up at 95+% to give his team a chance to win?
Yeah, Segs, I think that's a phenomenal point about this. Listen, the obvious thing I'm going to tell you is that if some quarterback pisses down his leg, craps himself, throws 3 picks,
right.
The obvious, Captain Obvious, is that team's got a really slim chance of winning. So they both have to play. Put it this way, even if you don't play spectacular, just don't kill your team with stupidity. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
But to me, if everything else is rolling, what team is better equipped to win if the quarterback plays average?
Right.
It's Seattle. It's Seattle. I give them a slight edge defensively, but anybody that thinks Vrabel's defense isn't good or not showing up, and people are going to continue to point back to, well, look at their schedule. I don't really care what their schedule is, because I've told you a million times on here, the difference between right now the New England Patriots and the Raiders, quarterback play, about 2 or 3 players, and about 5 plays a game. 5 or 6 plays a game. That's the difference, period. New England did it better than the Raiders. That's what. But you can see why, Segs, you can go from last to first the next year, because you get that quarterback, you get 2 or 3 more players, and a coach that coaches you, and before you know it, you made those 6 plays instead of didn't make them, and you're playing in this game in February. That is the difference. So I think the Seattle Seahawks, if both quarterbacks shit the bed, Seattle's more equipped to win. Let's say they both throw 2 picks, they both throw for 160 yards, and they're both having one of those days. Seattle's more equipped to win. Slight advantage defensively, and I think when it gets right down to it, the best player on the field, not named Darnold or May, on offense for either team, happens to be Jackson Smith and Jigba, in my opinion. I just think that and it's rare, Segs, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, you may get one of those guys, Nakua, who can take over a game. Kelsey at times in his younger, those guys, the guy I'm talking about, Segs, that wide receiver, takes over a game. But I'm always, the one thing about Smith and Jigba, I think he can. I think he's got that rare ability that, 6 catches in the first half and 120 yards, you're like, okay. So for me, they're more equipped. I think the run game, even though they're banged up, I think there's a little more to it with Seattle, just for me. But it's not a huge gap, Segs. It just isn't. I also think that the presence of the veteran presence and some of the things that Seattle's have been more battle tested in the regular season. That's not a lie. It doesn't mean New England's not ready for this. They both are fresh-legged for the most part because they've had 2 weeks to get ready for it. Give me Seattle if both quarterbacks were average. If both quarterbacks are great, if Drake May plays like he did in the regular season and Sam plays average, New England wins the game, dude. I'm just telling you. If Sam throws at the other team, that's how close that's the margin for error, how close it is. But overall, New England, Seattle's an overall better team, and I think they can overcome a little bit clearer than New England may be able to, and just with experience and say just a little bit. And like I said, they've had a few games that almost felt like Super Bowls throughout it during the regular season, because the Rams and the 49ers, they play a couple times a year. Give me the Seahawks if both quarterbacks are average or play bad. But if Drake May's spectacular, as good as Sam Darnold's been, I've watched Drake May make some throws that a lot of guys in this league don't make. And he's the most important person on the field on Sunday, the passing game. He has to. You can't be, if they're one-dimensional, they're going to have a hard time winning. They've got to run it, and they have got to throw it, and they've got to push the envelope down the field at times. You are going to have to take some shots. You ain't going 80 yards 5 times in this game to beat the Seahawks. You're just not. Right. And that's coming from a guy who thinks New England's going to be in this game. I believe it. I think both quarterbacks play average. Seattle, better chance to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that Drake May has struggled in these playoffs. He hasn't played well. And now, yes, he's faced maybe the 4 best defenses in football, or the 3 best defenses in football, during this stretch. But now you're playing another really good defensive team in the Seattle Seahawks. So, yeah, Drake May has to show up. Would you say, you talked about Jackson Smith and Jigba. Do you think he is the most important player in this game, not named one of the quarterbacks? Or do you have somebody else that fits that title for either team?
Outside of this, Segs, outside of the quarterbacks that we know, since they got the ball in their hand, how important they are.
We know
to me, it's New England Patriots run game. The ability to control, I believe. So if you want to if they're going two-headed monster,
Stevenson and Henderson,
the backfield, the ability to not. While I think he can do it, I would hate to see. I believe if New England throws it in the 40s, that they are not going to win. That would tell me they're one-dimensional, which is going to, unless Drake May was 37 of 41 and had one of those days, that usually doesn't bode well for it. To me, the most important, defense can play great, but if the offense can't score and you lose 6-3, it sucks. So it's usually a tendency to be on the offensive side of the ball for that importance. And for me, because I believe that Seattle can run it 25 times and kind of bang it against them and run for 82 yard sakes and still win. I think that New England has to be more balanced, which means they get 65 plays, run it 37 times, throw it 28 times. Now, if you look at that stat line at halftime and they've had 40 plays, Segs, or 33 plays offensively, and they've thrown it 15 and run it 23 type.
Yeah.
We're looking at, then when you get ready for the second half, I assure you that game will not be a blowout at halftime. If those are the numbers you're looking at, and I'm not a big stats guy, but I do know attempts in the run game matter. I just think the ability to not have to get into a passing fancy would give New England a real chance. You don't want, because listen, man, when Darnold's rolling good, dude, if they get into a passing fancy and that guy's on, he'll reel off 15 throws in a row. I mean, and they're good. And the best wide receiver in the game resides in Seattle as well. So, but I see Drake May. I think that, I don't know. I mean, even as a guy who's a top MVP candidate and didn't win at Stafford, but did, I just think that New England's run game needs to be relevant. Whatever you consider relevance to be, carries, yards, even if they rush 5 times for 100 yards and that's all they do in the first half, that won't be enough, Sigs. They're going to have to run it and stick with it and win some first down opportunities. You don't want to face Seattle in long yardage situations where they know you're throwing. It will not lead to the type of game you want because both these defensive coaches will get after you and they're smart. Give me the most important group is that New England's run game must rear its head at some point, whether it's carries and yards or just carries. They have got to be talked about. Yeah. They just have to. They got to show up on tape.
Yeah, I think, a lot of what you said and your talk about Jackson Smith and Jigba leads me to my most important player, and it's someone that I think has to follow JSN around the field. That's Christian Gonzalez. He's one of, if not the best corners in all of football, and he has the ability to slow JSN down enough. And Cooper Kupp's not scaring you like he did, 5 years ago. Rashid Shaheed is a nice athlete. AJ Barner's a decent tight end, but your focus has to be on shutting down JSN because he's so good at the deep ball, but also those intermediate routes that just pick up first down after first down after first down.
He's great in traffic, Segs, too. He's a precise and dynamic route runner. He's just not an outside the numbers guy that you see a lot of these straight push. He'll hit you on a slant play, take a hit. He'll make you miss. He'll hit you on a dig route. He'll get outside the numbers. And if you're running a 15-yard dig route, Segs, he ain't running it at 17. That dude's running it at 15 yards. He is phenomenal football player.
Yeah, so that's where Christian Gonzalez has to step up.
No doubt.
Follow him all over the field. I don't care if it's inside, outside, wherever he is. Christian Gonzalez should be lining up opposite him. And even if you're in zone, just show it because, obviously if you're a quarterback, right, and you see a guy following him around, you're going to be thinking it's a lot of man. But you could still throw zone at Drake May, who's a young.
Well, it's like a box and one, Stakes. It's like a basketball box and one where four guys are playing zone and one guy's chasing around Steph Curry so he doesn't get free looks at a three-point shot.
Exactly. So different things you can do against Darnold in that offense. And that's what Vrabel's been so good at in this postseason is scheming things up where teams aren't expecting them to be. But you have to shut down JSN to have a chance to win this game.
Right, and Segs, you mentioned about Smith and Jigba. I don't think you can shut him down if you let him get into his route and don't take him off his mark. He's going to catch balls.
Yeah.
Now, when you say that, I always say this: is it a second at the back end, first that leads the front seven, or opposite? I've always been closer to the ball equal more devastating. Give me great front seven, regardless of how good the secondaries are, and they got some players. I'm just saying, if I'm building a team, give me front seven that can disrupt a game with an average secondary. I'm not saying either one or but with an average secondary.
Yeah.
Now flip it and give me Rod Woodson and Dion at corner, Ronnie Lott and Ed Reed at safety.
Yeah, Ed Reed, yeah.
And then 7 guys up front that are soft and can't get to the quarterback. I'm torching you.
Yeah.
I am still with even mid receivers. I'm going to beat you more than likely. But you flip it now. If you get both, God bless you. That you get to be the 70 Steelers and the Ravens. You got both. The Texans had it all. 11 guys this year. They just couldn't score on offense. But when you talk about, so I always want to start it from the front seven. So at the front seven, we talk about Jackson Smith and Jiggy. You know what's going to be their best remedy? Twofold, Segs. You can't let him get free release off the ball. How many times in the last handful of Super Bowls your mind's going nuts when the Chiefs are in it and they're playing 8 yards off Kelsey? And you're like, what in the hell? At least press him, get some hands on him so you disrupt the timing.
Yes.
And with Darnold's all about timing. And they're all about, the slant route, he's going to be there. You have to get somebody who can at least force him around the bend off the ball. You can't give him free run. If you do, once he gets off the line of scrimmage, I got news for you. Man-to-man, advantage number 11, dude. I promise you. Doesn't matter who's covering him. But where that comes in on the other side, if you can disrupt him a little and get me some extra push in the backfield, that's when Sam may throw that high ball that gets tipped, right? Now, I hope that he plays out of his mind. I hope that both quarterbacks do. We have one of those games. But so it's the front seven that's going to disrupt Jackson Smith and Jigba more than any DB. And if you're not getting pressure at the front seven, then you better have somebody who's a grown-ass man who's got his balls dangling down to his, who can get in that guy's face and zone or man and say, this is going to be a labor all day, dude. I'm here. And for you to get 8 catches, you are going to earn every second of them. And the hardest part for you ain't going to be after the catch. It's going to be before your ass gets to your spot. And if you can disrupt that timing a little, what does a quarterback do? And I can just tell you, we take an extra hitch. Little bit of extra desperation. We may be late to the second window or third window, Segs, right there, the third read. Yep. And before you know it, now take a sack, it's 3rd and 17. Now we're looking at something that a field flipper. And the New England Patriots are going to have a field flipper or 3 in this game where you shorten the field. When we say this, people say, well, you're not giving them a chance. You're damn right I'm giving them a chance. I know Vrabel, and I've seen what they've done all year. But it has to be a little bit more smooth running for them, I think, than it does Seattle. That's just my, now listen, I may respect people's opinion. I don't have to value every opinion, but somebody who thinks different than that, they could be spot on. That's why I think it's a fine tooth comb in just the little things in this game that are going to matter. And pass rush will be a premium, not sacks, disruption. That's the key.
Pressure, knocking the quarterback. You mentioned knocking JSN off his spot, knocking the quarterback off his spot as well. All right,
make them play hero ball, Segs, when they got to play, and especially Sam. Let's listen. He believes in his arm. Make him play a little extra hero ball when they're down 10 points, and you may be up 17 points if Sam tries to make everything happen. What I've noticed in him, though, Segs, that where he's gone from hero, he's become a bigger hero with his play as he's not tried to make all those plays, right? Stayed in rhythm. Hey, man, it's not there on 3rd and 15. It's all right. Throw the check down for 9. We'll punt. We'll get it again. Where he realized that sometimes 3 and out is okay, so we don't give those guys that momentum in the game where I threw a sideline pick and they got 48 yards to go. You don't want to do that. Protect it, and you always got a chance.
Definitely. All right, before we get to who is going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, who won the MVP, and what we learned last night at the award shows, tell me about Augusta Precious Metals.
Okay, not dramatic here. Grocery store, we buy the same stuff. You guys do, as I always do, looking at the bill, and it's higher than it was the last month or the last week or the last 5 days. I feel like I spend an inordinate amount of time at grocery stores, and then an inordinate amount of time just for the hell of it. Man, that was one grocery bag or one cart. Oh, that was $4.20. Well, what'd you get? 2 steaks and a whole bunch of stuff that you shouldn't cost that much. Well, same grocery, same bills, constantly do it, higher than last month's. happening for years now. We see it. And we see it every year. It's not one person's fault, guys. This isn't a political blame. It's just month after month, things get higher. We've got to fix it. We got about a $40 trillion debt problem in this country. It's a problem. It affects all of us. So you start asking, how much higher can these groceries go before this thing stops and it hits a wall? And it worries, your retirement savings. No matter how much money you make, it's relative. You have more, it's kind of nice, but that security and confidence you get, that it's not just the number on paper that matters, right? That retirement savings, it's what's the money can actually buy and what you can keep through all this. Grocery bills keep climbing, and the same retirement savings doesn't go as nearly as far as it used to. That's obvious. But you can have the same balance over here and the grocery prices go up and you're still falling behind. Because I assure you, your salary is not raising at the same price groceries have been. Now, in some places it's gone down, but you get the point here. And they keep coming and climbing, and that same retirement, like I said, isn't going to go as far. And that's why a lot of people that with real retirement savings are diversifying, which is a wise move. You don't want them all in one basket, the oldest saying in the world. Spread it out a little bit, and you do part of that into physical gold, physical silver, tangible assets right here. The things you can hold in your hand. You're not chasing returns, but you are trying to protect what you've already earned. That's the big key. That's what rich people do. They're smart. They know how to make money, but they know how to keep money. And that's what Augusta Precious Metals is. They're going to teach you how to keep money through precious metals, gold and silver. Why wouldn't you want to do that? The money you've earned. I looked into it for a long time, guys. This is honest. I did, because I'm like, oh, what's the big deal? What's the talk? And I went through company after company, and I finally ran into this one. And now they're a partner, a teammate, and a great partner for me and for this show as an advertiser, a sponsor, but more importantly, as a teammate. And they've also changed my life on the confidence that in the retirement savings that I feel about moving forward, because I know exactly where the value of gold and silver is and where it's headed. I know exactly where the dollar is and where it's not right now. And that's the key. I want confidence. I don't want anxiety. I don't want stress. And isn't it nice to know you don't have to feel that way with those tangible assets of silver and gold? No pressure, no scare tactics, just simple, straight education. My favorite thing, first time you meet them, they're not trying to shove sales down your throat. They're trying to shove education down your throat. And that's an important thing. Then you can make the decision. And while you're there, might as well grab some. And that's the best place to do it. Augusta Precious Metals. And remember, this stays in your IRA or 401k. There is no taxes, no penalties. So what the best thing to do is get your free gold IRA guide at SeanBuysGold.com or text Sean, SEAN, to 35052, or click the link in the description below. That's SeanBuysGold.com. SeanBuysGold.com. It's Augusta Precious Metals, or text Sean to 35052. Get educated. Get yourself out of that stress and anxiety. And once you understand what precious metals, gold and silver are all about, you will dive in. And then you'll come back. You don't have to thank me, but you'll think less stress and anxiety is a good thing. SeanBuysGold.com, Augusta Precious Metals. And in this economy, protecting your position is how you stay in the game, and protecting your livelihood and just your own life and confidence, security and peace of mind is where Augusta Precious Metals and precious gold and silver comes in. SeanBuysGold.com.
All right, Sean, we've been talking a lot about the Pro Football Hall of Fame because of them leaving Bill Belichick off the ballot, or off the, being inducted in. Robert Kraft, same thing. Both Patriots, both being held out due to Spygate and Deflategate and all this stuff. Well, one former Patriot did make it in, Super Bowl winning kicker Adam Vinatieri. We also had the great Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, arguably one of the best wide receivers, one of the smoothest wide receivers we've ever seen. Luke Kuechly, the middle linebacker for the Carolina Panthers, that was on that Super Bowl team that went. And then one of your former teammates, Roger Craig, makes it in. What do you think about the class? Obviously, we're missing the two big names in Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. But for these five guys, these are five Hall of Fame players.
Segs, there is absolutely no doubt. I'm going to tell you something about this that I love. It may be, we've had a lot of great players. I'm talking about the whole package. I looked through these guys, and the word, we talk about Hall of Fame class, the five dudes in that picture have done it the right way their whole life, their entire career. Well, you can go one by one, and I can. I'm fortunate. I don't know Luke Kuechly very well. I know the other four. I know Fitz. Fitz used to come to practice when I was in Minnesota, and his dad's in the media. Known Fitz forever. Drew Brees, a million. I mean, everybody feels like they know Drew Brees, right? Roger Craig, a teammate, and Adam Vinatieri. I've interviewed him a million times, or not quite a million. That's a little hyperbolic, but While we're going to complain about it, there'll be more to the Belichick craft and when Brady's time comes and all that. But instead of bitching about who didn't, let's celebrate who did.
Yes, for sure.
I'm not sure that Hall of Fame class, if class isn't the number one word in this definition. Drew Brees has been a professional and done it right forever. Now you can decide in your life what a Hall of Famer, what the, not just the protocol to get in, but what a Hall of Famer looks like on and off the field to you. Now, when you vote, it's supposed to be performance and what they did on it. I'm taking even now that they're in, should we feel proud of this representation? Is there one guy on here that we say, yeah, I don't know? Is there one guy on here that people are talking about saying, bad teammate? Is there one guy on here saying, yeah, he didn't deserve to get in? Focus on this is a life-changing for these guys, but also what a reward for a Hall of Fame that's got less than 400 people. Brees, the most accurate passer I've ever seen in my life, day-to-day, sustain. You want to talk about sustainability, dude. This guy's sustainability was more guaranteed than owning an NFL franchise ROI, man. And he's done it classy the whole way. Great leader. Larry Fitzgerald, have you met a receiver in your life that talks less and does more? And that's, I mean that affectionately because I've been with Steve. They talk, and it's great. And you can do, there's never been a guy that I've ever seen. Steve Largent, my teammate, was very similar. Everybody talks for you. He doesn't have to say a word. And Fitz has just been nothing but, since the day he put a uniform on at Pitt and rolled through his NFL career. When's the last time you heard him give you the I confess it was somebody else's fault in the game? Some times he went through some shitty-ass teams too, Segs. And then you go to Vinatieri. When you go to Vinatieri, Brady, Belichick, Kraft, all those guys, the Hall of Fame players get all the credit. That cat right there is about as responsible for a ring as any everyday player that we've ever had. This is a no-brainer. Nobody should complain about. There's more special teams guys we should have in there. We should, because they make just as big a difference. Without Vinatieri, Brady's got more losses on his schedule, and so does Bill Belichick. That cat's smoothing them through when it matters. Luke Kuechly, the most under-talked about, and when he played, he was awesome. The most under-talked about guy, just kind of do his thing, knock your dick in the dirt, do it without taunting you, pick you up, and come get yourself some more. Phenomenal human being. Listen to Jordan Gross, his former teammate who coaches offensive line at University of Utah. That cat right there showed up every day, played hurt, kicked your ass, and belongs in the Hall of Fame. And then the guy in the middle and the bottom, Roger Craig, says the stories of his training. He would talk about his training because of Walter Payton and Jerry Rice. They'd run the hill like Jerry did when Walter. And says he was a teammate of mine in Minnesota. We got Roger at the end of his career. On that team with those players, and he was rushing for 1,000 and catching for 1,000 out of the backfield with Rathman in front of him. Says I ran through a lot of teammates, and I hold Roger Craig in the highest regard as a human being. Tireless. I'm posted on Twitter. Tireless worker. Never once, if Roger Craig, if you go up to him maybe in private, and we'd always tell him, man, Hall of Famer, Sean, I don't know. I just, never once pined for it. When's the last time you saw him in an interview pining for the Hall of Fame since he's retired? Never.
Yeah.
He belongs. Matter of fact, I can argue it's late to the party because Roger wasn't with Young and Montana and Rice and the Randy Cross, such great players on those teams. Wesley Walls and Brett Jones and like I said, Randy Cross and Fonhorse and Ronnie Lott. I mean, everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. No more consistent player than the guy at the bottom middle, Roger Craig. And he came to Minnesota. His leadership and presence alone, Segs, was invaluable. I consider him a great friend. I consider him a phenomenal player, a great example, a mentor that anybody that's ever been around Roger Craig. There's not a thing. I've never heard a bad word come out of anybody's mouth about it, other than you didn't want to tackle his high knees ass because he'd kicking you in your chin when he ran. Right. And if there was anybody that you could lean to when things were going good or bad to be the same cat, it was him. And well, listen, I've been on a lot of legendary workers, but Herschel Walker, the push-ups, sit-ups, and it was true. That's how he got in great shape. Nobody worked harder than that guy right there. And I couldn't be happier for Roger, and I'm probably going to invite myself to his Hall of Fame, call him and congratulate, but I'm so proud of him. This is what the Hall of Fame's supposed to look like. Those 5 dudes doing it the right way all the time, and not a soul in the world should argue with one of them being in. You can give me who he was out, but if this was an all-star game, nobody got snubbed to these 5. You can't put anybody in for Fitz. This 5 right here, they got it right. Decide about Belichick and Kraft when you want to, but don't shrink these 5 guys who played Hall of Fame football every fucking week. Even if it wasn't successful with a win and loss, they walked out of it having made a difference. I love them, and I think this is a phenomenal Hall of Fame class.
Yeah, what a great class. All right, we also learned last night Matt Stafford is your 2025, 2026 NFL MVP. Drake May falls 1 vote short. Josh Allen got 2 votes. I think, let me get it right here. It was 24 for Matt Stafford, 23 for Drake May. Josh Allen
47.
got 2, and
There's
Justin
49.
Herbert got 1. And that's
Well,
where
I
a lot
like
of people
Herbert, but
have a
Herbert
problem.
shouldn't have been. Herbert didn't deserve a first place vote. I
Yeah,
love him.
yep.
He didn't deserve a first place vote.
Yeah.
Darnold should have got a first place vote before he did.
Yeah, we'll talk about that decision by a certain writer who works for a certain company. But let's start at the top. Matt Stafford is your MVP. Do you agree with that? I know we've talked about it a lot. We talked about it with Coach JB, and he always said he had Stafford ahead of Drake May. A lot of people talked about the schedule and everything, and it came down to 1 vote. And that's kind of how we talked about it even. We're like, yeah, we think it should be Stafford, but you have this argument for Drake May in just his second year. And it seems like the writers were having that trouble as well, as it's so close, as again, 1 vote difference. Do you think they got it right with Matt Stafford?
I absolutely do, and it should have been this close. But had it have been 24 to the other guy and 23 to Stafford, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have had a major complaint. You absolutely shouldn't have, because the schedule or not. Listen, we don't award. Well, Ohtani hit 400 against the worst team in baseball and hit 330 against the best team. Combine the two, what was that? You just say he was a great player because they're all getting paid. I don't judge the MVP that way. He's got his team in the Super Bowl. Those votes came in before, obviously, the playoffs started. If it would have been flipped, you should have celebrated what Drake May did, because he had a phenomenal season on, quite frankly, a less talented team with a bit of an easier schedule. I get that. Stafford, this is as close as it should have been, Segs. It should have come down to this. You should have labored over this vote. It was not blatant or a dead giveaway. The numbers are both gaudy. The leadership's both obviously visible. The impact they make on their team. They both got their team deep into the playoffs. One a game shy of the Super Bowl, one in the Super Bowl. One probably a little tougher path, one younger. So look at all the numbers he put up as a guy who's new in the league, and Stafford has seen all this before. You can make arguments both ways. Yes, it should have been this close. I thought it would be within 5 or 6 votes of each other. I didn't even know it'd be this close, but I wouldn't have argued if it would have flipped. They said, man, it's fair. But I also think this is the way it should have been done. So the truth of the matter is, it's almost like, can I have half the trophy? It was only 1 vote, but the truth is, it should have been this close. And that's the way, just kind of like the Super Bowl. I think these teams are pretty equally matched. I like this, and I think this is exactly the way it should have been. I got a bigger complaint about 4th place, the 1 vote. And like I said, and I think Herbert's a talented guy. Then the 1 vote, then I do the guys at the top. They got it right. I think there's plenty of a couple other players that I could have given 1 vote to, first place vote. If you're going to get out of those first 3, I could have given 1 vote to somebody else. Who'd you say got the 3rd place vote, first place vote?
Josh Allen got 2 votes.
Allen, fair enough. And right, hell, I could have given him a 3rd, and I'd have been fine with all 3 getting their 51st place votes in. This is the way it should have been. I didn't look who voted for Herbert, and it's their right to do it. But let's face facts. As good as Herbert is, he was not. And I know Sam Monson.
Yeah,
he's been
had
on our
Sam
show.
Monson on when we were in Houston.
Pro Football Focus
together.
Yeah,
Yep,
and I like Sam. Sam studies football. He loves it. I'm a fan. I disagree with him here. I know he's got his reasons because Sam's a smart guy, but I would have, and considering the injuries to tackles, dude, that doesn't mean that I think that Herbert was a 15th best quarterback in the league or player. I could have put Josh Allen's teammate with the first place vote. I could have given it to Cook. I could have given it to McCaffrey. We offensive player. I could have given it to, who else did we miss on offensive player of the year? Running back had a great, who? Yeah, Puka Nacua. No, absolutely. No, absolutely. So I never argue with this because I know Sam going to come up with his reasoning, but to me, it would have been easier for me to give somebody else the vote than it would have been voted for Stafford and or Drake May. But I think it turned out at the top the way it's supposed to. And Allen should have been third. He should have.
And I'll just read Sam's tweet real quick for, and kudos to him for stepping up and saying, hey, I was the one Justin Herbert vote. He says, the guy had the worst offensive line in the NFL all season long, and despite that, he was working miracles in almost every single game. Stafford's O-line became 2/5 as bad when a couple guys got hurt as Herbert's for 5 minutes, and he became a turnover howitzer, is how he said it. He says he embodied value, talking about Herbert embodied value. That's why he voted for Justin Herbert. That's his reasoning. Take it as you will. But I will say, when Stafford's line did get a little bit hurt and they got a little bit banged up those last few weeks of the season, that last month of the season, he turned the ball over a lot. And he kind of like if he would have kept, put it this way, if he would have kept on the same pace he was going from the beginning of the season through, he was the walkaway winner in the MVP. The last month or so where he struggled and the Rams dropped down in the playoff race and everything, it allowed Drake May back in, and it allowed the Rams to have to go on the road and play in the playoffs.
Segs, and with this, in this case, and like I told you, I like Sam. I respect him, and I also credit him for posting and letting us know what no doubt for his reasoning, and that's good enough for me. I don't agree with the reasoning. Yeah. I do that he had a bad offensive line and that Herbert's a hell of a talent. But who was the coach of the year, Segs?
Coach of the year ended up being Mike Vrabel.
Okay. Did Sam, under this, if he's going quarterback the same way, did Sam did he vote for Kyle Shanahan?
I would have to look. I'm not sure.
Should he have? Basing on the Justin Herbert?
Based on what he.
If I'm going by Sam's approach, shouldn't he have unequivocally, and maybe he did, I don't know.
Shanahan with all the injuries to
no
the
doubt.
49ers.
Yes.
And,
isn't it the same thing?
Yes.
Yes. So with that in mind, and Herbert, his offensive line and doing it, and he's a monster down. It won't surprise me if he does win an MVP at some point, Segs. It won't. But with that, it's why we call it a team game, and Stafford went through, and Stafford brought May into it with some of his mistakes down the stretch. Hell, what if all of a sudden somebody would have voted 10 votes for Sam Darnold, or even fell in love with Caleb Williams while he turned it over? Man, the guy was a monster at the end of games, right? So I can make an argument for a lot. I mean, and listen, if you'd have voted Nakua the MVP, I'm sure Stafford would have high-fived it, even though Stafford's the MVP. So if you're going by he had a bad offensive line and this and that, then I can only suggest that your coach of the year has to be Kyle Shanahan, right? But it wasn't, so you went with Vrabel, and Vrabel deserved it. I get it. So anytime you post and tell me why, I'm in. I disagree. I don't think Justin Herbert was a top 5 MVP candidate this year, although played well a lot with an offensive line that looked like trash at times, no doubt.
Yeah, it's JSN wins Offensive Player of the Year. Tet McMillan from the Carolina Panthers won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Schlesinger, the linebacker from the Cleveland Browns, wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then we mentioned Mike Vrabel gets Coach of the Year. Liam Cohen finishes second, and then so on. Ben Johnson had 1. He finished 5th with 1 vote. I can't remember the other guys.
Miles Garrett obviously won Defensive Player.
And Miles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year. Yes, that's the one I forgot. So I
can't
argue with any of those.
I can't either. And the truth is, Segs, you mentioned, I'll tell you where the biggest argument is. And it's not, you can't really, I've told you how much of a monster we both have all year long, and how, hell, the guy who kept me into the fantasy championship was JSN. Every week. Difference maker, change games. I mean, Puka does have an argument, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I could make the same Stafford Drake May argument that I made that I'm making for the Puka / Jackson Smith in Jigba. So either one, but how can you not say 11 deserves it? He had a friggin' monster. Dude, can you imagine line up with these 4? Hey, I'm going to line up with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm going to line up with Nakua like in your 4 wides, and then just give me Jefferson and Chase on the outside. We'll put the other 2 on the inside. You think he'd be any good? Hell, I'd be in a Pro Bowl about 25 times, Segs, with those guys. Well, that's not true because I had Chris Carter and Jake Reed and Anthony Carter, so we had good ones there too. But you get my point.
Yeah.
Can you imagine lining up and saying, dang, I just got to throw it underhanded, and one of my cats is going to come up with it, right? Yet it's obviously more serious. Congratulations to all those winners. I don't have one major argument. We're going to argue more on the guys down the list more on the closest than we are at the top, and that is fair. Great. They got it right at the top. They did.
Couple funny things from the award show last night, and again, I wasn't able to watch it. I
didn't watch it either. I just read it this morning.
I was at my daughter's basketball game and then my nephew's basketball game at the same place, so I didn't get home till well after 9 o'clock. But Tiffany Haddish, who's an actress and everything, she announced the coach of the
funny
year.
Lady.
Yeah, funny actress. She announced coach of the year, and here's how she pronounced Mike Vrabel's name. Go ahead, roll it.
Here is Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel.
I mean, it's to the
Not
point
sure
now.
who that is.
Is it Verbo? Like the what is it? Where you rent out your house or whatever?
It's like a Airbnb place.
If you're Mike Vrabel,
it's a rental house, right?
Or if you're Mike Vrabel's, PR person or marketing person, you call Verbo right now and say, "Hey, this is a deal. We're made for this now. Like, we have to do this."
You know what I would have done, Segs, if you're Vrabel? What would have been classic? She's a comedian. She's funny, like a fun actress, and she's funny. I think she's good. Well, number one is I would think that behind the scenes you would go behind like you would, Segs, and anything. If I'm interviewing somebody and somebody you've never met, that I do a little due diligence and go into spell check and pronunciation check just to make sure. If I'm at an awards show, that I'd like to get that person right. So somebody, maybe it's pronounced Vrabel. I guess we all assume that it's pretty easy that it's not verbal.
Yeah.
Although it is verbal because you're talking about it, but it's not verbal.
Yeah.
If you're Mike Vrabel, what would have been hilarious if he'd have walked up there and I didn't see what Mike said and say, "Oh, thank you, Tiffany Haddish." Now, with that, it's pronounced Haddish. That would have been kind of funny, but you take the high road, not that big a deal. It's just that you'd think in the award show, the biggest NFL award show, you could just get the name right. It's not hard. Just do a little homework. You're up there looking great. You're funny. We all know who you are, Tiffany. This guy won the coach of the year. Just even while you're standing, hey, how does this guy pronounce his name? Yeah. While you're standing on side set and back in the green room, Vrabel. Okay, I got this.
Yep.
You can't go up there cold turkey. What if it would have been something? What if it would have been a name that was really hard to pronounce?
Right.
Yeah, just get the name right. It ain't that hard.
Well, speaking
you do
of
that
a
with
name,
your own script. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of a name that is hard to pronounce, or I don't want to say hard to pronounce, but it's a dangerous name to pronounce, and it's why you hear me slow down every time I say it. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba. Well, Drewski, who's a comedian, becoming bigger and bigger as time rolls on, he had some fun with Njigba's name, and here's the video of that.
Well, the winner decided not to pull up tonight, so I guess on his behalf, Jackson Smith Njigba. Nigaba.
Now Barry Sanders standing there, and you just see the look he gives him after he says that. He just looks and he's just like, really, like trying not to laugh, but just like, really, like, did you just say that?
Dude,
and then then it starts panning to everybody, and they're all just like, oh my god.
Dude, Drewski's a funny dude. It's a good thing he wasn't white. Okay.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's a good thing he wasn't white, because even if he made a mistake that people can make with that name, because I've heard it pronounced 7 different ways. We know how to pronounce it, but it's pronounced. But the fact that he went with one name and then he came back,
he said it right.
Right. Yeah, it's like you got it right the first time, dude. Don't say anything else. But then he threw it in, and it's like, okay, there was a part of me when I saw this just out there. Was he doing it to be comical, just kind of joke around about it? Because like I said, listen, anybody that's been in a locker room, the fellas talk to each other a little different, and you get it. It's not something you want to go out and throw around. But I'm talking about the fellas that do it. There's a fraternity that goes on. But on an award show, you're like, hey, Drewski, you got it right the first time, brother. Don't expand. Now, I would have loved if Tiffany Haddish on the other side would have said verbal. No, it's Vrabel, right? Now that's different. You got it right. Play that again, dude. This is look how wumpy Johnny is when he says it too. Barry's like, dude, I've never spiked a football in my life, but I'm gonna have to spike it on your head, Drewski. This is classic. Run that again, Bailey.
Jackson Smith Njigba. Nigaba.
Then he has the throwaway.
Yeah.
Then he has the throwaway, like he just kind of ties it in one more time. He says once. Yeah. Let me throw that again. Dude, he is I mean, while it's classic, and I'm sure JSN has heard it pronounced brutal.
Oh, yeah.
100 times. Yes, and it's okay to take a pregnant pause when you pronounce his name. There is no question. But Drewski, the comedian, he just like, let me get this in. That was, I'm glad it was him and not you or me or Segs. Right. I am.
And very that's why a lot of times
you didn't have that pronunciation faux pas on a national stage.
I'll say it once, and then I just go to JSN, and I'm so glad he has that JSN that you could just attach, and everybody knows who you're talking about. At this
number
point.
11, that wide receiver who plays in Seattle had a great year. You know, that Jackson Smith guy.
Jackson Smith. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man.
Just some funny moments from last night.
And they both happen to be pronunciation moments. Thank you. And nobody stood up and said hate ICE or anything, did they, last night, Segs? And
that's
say, go kill ICE and take your mask off so we can dox you. Nobody did that. They kind of left it to sports, I hope, last night. Did they?
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
I mean,
I don't do award shows. I'm happy for the guys, but I don't do them. Yeah.
Yeah. So
just making sure.
Yeah. Our last football 6-pack of picks. We're going with some fun prop bets, and then we'll pick the game at the end. Let's start with the national anthem. Charlie Puth is going to perform over under 120.5 seconds.
So that's
right
2 minutes.
2 minutes and a half.
Yeah, just under 2.
A second.
Give me just a reason, just a reason. I'm just trying to think when he sings the cut with Pink,
right.
You know, in their I'm trying to think about his tone, tenor, and tempo when he's singing. Charlie Puth, very talented guy. I'm trying to think, okay, is he a guy who carries notes, you know, like it's like it gets about 145 segs, or the land, is he gonna like extend that, right?
I think
that 0.5 matters.
Yes.
I'm going like 203, like a second or two longer. I'd take the over on this.
Yeah, I've got the over as well. I think he's
because he doesn't get this opportunity much. Yeah, he also does. He's got a little soul. He doesn't get this opportunity very often because there'll be some that are going to say, "Who?" I don't mean to disrespectful, but some will, because while he's famous, he may not pull the same weight as if all of a sudden say, "Hey, Beyonce's singing the national anthem," right? So I'm going to go. I'm going over. If it was like somebody who that doesn't say much, they get up there and they just want to get through it. Maybe Charlie Puth adds a little, carries it. Give me the over on this one. Give me the over.
Yeah, I'm taking the over as well. First coach shown, Mike McDonald or Mike Vrabel. We see the odds.
Coach of the year. Coach of the year. New England sidebar stories. Yep. Vrabel first, because even though McDonald did the long shot, it's Vrabel, it's Brady, it's all the chatter about Belichick and Kraft not getting in. It's the Patriots. Vrabel first.
All right, Gatorade. I got Vrabel as well, just with all those same.
The odds you get there. I'm going to say blue because both teams have blue in their uniforms.
Oh.
And both teams have blue in their uniforms. So you're safe both ways at the end if they want to do the Gatorade dump. I'm going to say the dump, it's obvious, the yellow, green line, the orange. Don't you usually, wouldn't it be, Seattle is blue in their uniform, so does the Patriots, right, Segs?
Yeah. Yep.
Give me blue because at the end of a game, it just matches what you're doing. I know that's a reach. I'd normally go with the yellow, the green lime look, yellow, green. I'm going to go with blue. I'm going to take a flyer that both uniform colors that have when their seasons go, they have a bit of blue in it. Give me blue for the win at plus 260.
I'm going to take lime because it's that other color. I think the Seahawks win the game. Now, do I think they cover? We'll answer that in a few seconds. But I think the Seahawks win, and I think that lime color they have on their jerseys.
Oh, on the flashy uniforms, and they mix that in. That's a great point. You took this. You took the complementary color instead of the dominant color.
Yes, exactly.
That makes sense. Exactly. And one of the things, I guess I should do due diligence on this. because coaches and organizations are superstitious. How many of the 6 wins for New England what color Gatorade they choose as opposed to the losses? Was it all the same all the time? Or let's say they had 6 of our wins, we did yellow, green, lime. Expect yellow, green, lime for them.
Yeah,
that would be
good.
And then if you're Seattle, the last time you lost the Super Bowl was on a dumb offensive play call and a great play by Malcolm Butler. Did you have yellow, green, lime, blue, or orange? That would be one if you're going back to, yeah, man, we ain't doing that again. Let's get to one of the other 2 colors. Is superstition play? Because it would for me. How many? We won 6. What kind of Gatorade we have? Well, we were lime green on 5 of them. Give me that. I want that green yellow Gatorade. So I don't know. I'm taking a fly. I've never chosen blue. I am going to do it this year to see. I like your style though of that color, that flashing neon color that Seattle likes to throw into their uniform. Makes sense.
All right, coin toss, heads or tails, straight up.
I don't think I've ever chosen tails when I was a captain, and I don't think I've ever chosen tails in the bet. Give me heads, even though tails might have been called more. I'm a heads guy. I kind of like the head up. Eyes are seeing it, where tails. And I look at it like this. Well, the tail part is you're getting your ass kicked and somebody's putting a cleat in your ass. The head is my head's up and I'm looking. I get to see everything. I know that sounds weird. That's how I call the coin toss. Give me the visual one. I like heads.
All right, I'm going tails.
What you got?
Never fails. Never fails. That's what they say, at least. So we'll see. All right, this one I threw out there, and I just picked the 250 mark to see where the quarterbacks were. Quarterback passing yards in the game. Both quarterbacks 250 yards plus. So these are the odds. May is 178 plus 178. Darnold's plus 146. Do you like either? None? Both? Or just, pick one or the other? Or you can pick both or you can pick neither. So you're telling me that if I take both, it's 250 total for both quarterbacks combined? No. Like they each
250 each.
250, yeah.
Okay, the plus one. So Darnold's plus 146 on the betting line, and Mays plus 148 on 250. Yep. I think both of them. I think New England's going to have to throw more to win, even though they got to be bounced. I think that New England will. The smart play is Darnold over, May under. That's the smart play. And so there's a part of me that thinks that New England's going to be down a little bit and going to need like that drive where he throws for 80 yards, like a couple drives in a row. And that was my first thought. For me, the smart, and I may hedge it, but the smart play is May under 250 and Darnold over 146. I think Jackson Smith's going to get 100 yards himself. Easy for me. Darnold's over 146. If Darnold's under 250, I'm saying plus 146. But if Darnold's under 250, Now that I'm questioning, okay, plus 178 on the betting line and 146 plus 146 for him, and then 250 for both. I'll tell you this: give me May on the over, Darnold on the under at 250. Okay, that's what I'll take. I'll take that plus 146, and I know one or the other. I think that you're probably safer saying Darnold under 250 and just sitting with the single bet. But if I want to go, I think May's going to have to throw for more yards for them to win. Not being able to win. I think that they're going to run it and be physical. But I think Darnold 228, 230, May 268, 270. I take May on the over, Darnold on the under in this, which if it's close, if both of them are close to the number, it's a field goal game.
I like that. I like your thought process there, and I'm with May over. I wouldn't touch Darnold at 250 plus. I would be under that as well. So
I think in true sakes, if you're looking at both defenses, the true safe bet is probably thinking that both defenses keep the quarterbacks under that. I just think that New England's going to have to get more attempts. And if you're down, you may have to throw with the clock. Yeah, I'd take May on the over. Close. It's not a 380-yard game unless they're getting their ass kicked and they got to throw every down. And I would take Darnold in the low 200s, high 100s, low 200s. And in the last one, I think it's a field goal game. I got the Seahawks winning. I would take the under, and I got the Patriots plus 4.5.
So you're taking Pats plus 4.5, and you're taking the under. You said
I think it's a 23-21, 23-20 game.
Okay. I hadn't really decided yet on the over under. I am taking the Seahawks minus the 4.5. I think they will get a late score if it's a field goal to push it to 6.
Secure the game.
Yeah. Maybe give May that ball back with, however much time left, but it pushes them to 6 points, making the Patriots have to go for the touchdown. I don't think they get it. I think Seattle finishes with their great defense and they shut down May in the offense to win the Super Bowl. That's my prediction. And then over under at 45.5. You know what? Give me the over. I'm going to take slight over. Like, give me 47, 48. Yes.
Are you comfortable with that, Segs?
Yes.
Or is it a reach for you think? You comfortable with it? So
I'm
thinking 27-20 type game.
Yeah,
Somewhere in that
27,
range.
21. Yep, right in there.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So
the first team that gets, I told you this the other day, if you get to 24, in my mind, you're the first team to 24 wins. To me.
And that could be that, that scenario of 24-21. And that's when Seattle kicks that field goal, gives the ball back. And
that's when I'll be hoping 24-21 stays 24-21 to get under the hook there. So
and that's where it's dangerous as a bettor now, because with the way these coaches coach, you're up 3. Let's say you got the ball at the 25 and it's 4th and 3. Are you kicking the field goal? A lot of coaches now are not. A lot of coaches now are going for that to just secure the win, and then you kneel it out. You win by 3. You don't cover the points. So that now I'm thinking that I'm going to get screwed here, but I'm going to stick with my pick.
And Segs, one other thing to think about, and this is something I try to study. Who are the 2 head coaches?
Vrabel and
defensive coaches.
Yep.
If it's 4th and 2 and points matter, what do you defensive coaches usually think if they're in the Super Bowl? Their defenses are good. Give me the points. We'll get a stop.
Yeah.
Now, if the head coach is in this,
to where they have to score a touchdown,
right?
If it's a field goal, maybe they think a little bit different. But
right, if the head coaches in this game were Ben Johnson and Sean McVay,
yeah,
and it's 4th and 2 or something along that line, say,
yeah,
dude, if it's 4th and 2, you're going to see 4th and 5. You're going to see him go for it on 4th down 6 times in this game.
Yep. You're going to put the ball in Caleb Williams or Matt Stafford or Josh Allen. With
now 4th and a half yard Seg's different than 4th and 2.5. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Then I get why a defensive guy said, go be physical on the offensive line, knock the shit out of him and get it done. But there's this DNA. And if I'm on the opposite side of the ball, 4th and a half yard, and I got man Darnold and I got a physical, guess what I'm doing? We're up by 5 or we're up by 3. I'd like to extend it to 10 as opposed to 6, because then they get a minute 30 to go. I love my defense, but I'm an offensive guy. Screw it. I'm not going to put my defense in a bind. They get the stop at the 35-yard line anyway. I'm going for broke, and we're going to go win it and put them away. But that's just the mentality. My gut tells me both of these coaches think that their defenses will bail them out faster than their offenses, even though both offenses are more than capable.
Yeah, I think we're in for a fun Super Bowl. It's finally here. We've been talking about it for a while now. It's finally here this Sunday. What about 5:30-ish Central? I never did see the actual start time, which is always, a weird.
Usually right around there, Segs, 5:37 kickoff or something.
Yeah.
So real quick, give me 3 of your favorite. If you have 3 things you have to eat on Super Bowl Sunday, what is it?
Oh yeah.
If we're having a party at the house and I say, Segs, pick your 3 favorite items, I'll get them here. What is it?
I'm a pizza guy. So you give me pizza, meat lovers, sauce.
What about if it was your own, I got that pizza oven in the backyard, like homemade pizza oven too would even be the number one, right? Build your own type of thing.
I'm good with that. My wife makes a really good.
I know where you're going with this because I've tasted it, Segs.
Yes, now I'm gonna blank on what it's called. I'll come back to it. I can't think of what it's called. And then my grandma's dill dip with pretzels and carrots, celery. We'll have that artichoke dip. That's it. My wife makes.
I was waiting for you to say it because I've had your wife's artichoke dip, and I say it, and I couldn't remember what it was. But I'm saying Segs is going to say his wife's dip because we have had it together. We've eaten it, and it was off the charts, and we actually raved about it when we had it. And I love artichokes and that dip where it's thick.
Yes.
And it's extra
put it
cheese.
on little toasted bread.
Yeah, dude. So that's great dip. And I'll say this.
How about you?
For me, pizza, I do love pizza. I love sliders like prime rib or roast beef sliders or brisket sliders, like a couple different ones on like the Hawaiian roll steaks.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. The charcuterie, chips, dips, cheeses, crackers. But I like that around 11 o'clock, right?
Yeah,
Pre-game
early,
show,
yeah.
right. And then, listen, if you give me a steaming hot, spicy, all drummies, proper.
Oh, yeah,
I know it's generic. Everybody
But
has
you can't
cliche.
go wrong with wings.
No, if it's done right with
Right.
the proper thick ranch dressing and thick blue cheese dressing, not runny ass shit that's gross. But I love sliders. I love the charcuterie chips and dip early. That leads into a homemade pizza, or like I love the artichoke dip would be a top notch, piping hot too,
Yes.
right, Segs?
Yes.
And then the right chips that don't break every time you stick them in the damn dip.
Mhm.
And then give me great sliders, great pizza, and like 3 or 4 different types of rub on wings. But I'm a all drummies guy with great, and ranch and blue cheese make the dip. So for me, that's all it's about.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Me and my wife talked about it. Was it last night or the night before? Of, you know, we're doing a lot of those. We'll probably have some wings because my son loves wings, and you know, my boys asked me to stay home and watch it with them this year, so that's what we're gonna do. And
nothing better than that, brother. There ain't no party better than that when the boys are ready and it's time and they get it now.
Yes.
All you, brother. That's gonna be fun for you guys. I love that.
So looking forward to it. I mean, it's something we've been talking about. This should be a very fun game. 2 teams that are pretty equal in terms of their defenses and their offenses. I give the slight edge to Seattle, but it wouldn't shock me if Mike Vrabel's able to make Sam Darnold nervous in that pocket and throw some things at him he's not expecting. And we've seen Sam turn the ball over at times in big moments. So that's the big key for me, is Sam Darnold can't turn it over. If it's, you know, if he's seeing stuff he's not expecting, he can't get crazy and turn the ball over. What's your one last big key to this game?
The team if both teams come out clean, Segs, it's just going to come down to a grinded out mutter, even though it's not. You get my point. I think that if Sam Darnold's clean, Seattle will win.
Okay.
Seattle's going to win. I just think there's a little more physicality, although, dude, the Vrabel factor, and the best of all of them who've seen this, Josh McDaniels is one of the great offensive coordinators of all time. I'm anxious to see that matchup of these bright minds of offensive coordinators deal with some confusing defenses. I can't wait to see it.
And if that happens, if Seattle wins, the first USC quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
And you know what? All of us will defer to the great Sam Darnold because we're proud of him after what he went through. Good on them.
Exactly. Yep.
You guys enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Have a great one. Segs, great week. Bailey, Laura, everybody involved with this. Love you guys. And to our fans and listeners, enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. It's not the matchup that's not sexy. It's a matchup that could turn us into some great football. It's the way it's supposed to be played.
100%. Get over to YouTube, like and subscribe at Unpaved Sean Salisbury. Check out the Kirk Herbstreit interview from a few days ago. You're not going to, you know, this.
Yeah,
you can watch this interview 3 weeks from now, 6 months from now, and it'll still play because it's that good and it's not, you know, time pressing. He talks about the Super Bowl, but that's only thing he talks about.
You'll feel like you're sitting down with him yourself in his own home. That's right.
Yes. So go
check
like
it out
and subscribe at Unpaved Sean Salisbury on YouTube, and get over to Rumble, like and subscribe there. We'll talk to you guys Monday. Coach JB will join us to wrap up the Super Bowl. Enjoy your Sunday. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Unpaved Sean Salisbury here for bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.